Dear friends, today my topic is 14 steps to increasing production. This is a revised text based on a request of some readers. Work in a factory should be like a pendulum in simple harmonic motion. It should be continuous, non-interruptive, and rhythmic. There should be harmony at the workplace. And to maintain that harmony, give a gentle push when required at the beginning of the cycle. If you give inputs in the wrong time, direction, for example, mindless interference in the flow of work, the results could be counterproductive. It is so with work also. You must maintain that harmonic cycle, that rhythm of work to achieve your desired results. Over and under reaction, untimely reaction hurts work. Watch the work proceedings from far. Do not interfere too much or too little with the work. Step number 1. Choose your captain wisely. People are like sheep. They follow the boss. This is the first step to achieving your goal of increasing production. He is the one who should have the commitment and resilience to stay put in his endeavor to improve the production. His involvement and focus on his work will align the workplace. That is, the employees also in the direction of production. Step number 2. Production is about mind games. Mentally you wear out, you lose the game. Many managers use their strength, perseverance, and never say die attitude to come out victorious. People stumble over problems and give up. The one who perseveres and believes that he can accomplish succeeds. Many a times I have heard people saying, there were shortages, I did not have that facility, I had no support, things went wrong with me. These have been the talk of a failed person. A committed person will expect problems, will do some groundwork to overcome them, and when it comes, finally when the work is completed, he will tell you how he got over the problems. Step number 3. Employ people from all regions of the country. Companies which have a fair mix of employees from different states of the country generally are healthy and prospering. Those who have belief that only their community or state people should be employed have slowly led to the company's downfall. Systems deteriorate, underperformance and casual approach to work becomes rampant, and many have to close down. The fact that a company employs people from other states is a proof that the management values production and productivity. Whenever you have employees from only one community or state, the chances of unity among them for a good or bad cause runs high. Employees can unite and organize a quick tool down or stop work altogether. When you have people from different states working in an organization, you have differences of opinion, and it becomes very difficult for all to unite for a bad cause. So production keeps going and their chances of survival are high. Step number 4. Never wish for an easy job. Never be happy to live with an easy job. Take a job that is challenging in nature. For example, take a shop that has problems, issues. You learn a lot when you are in amidst problems. That makes you more resilient. You will be able to face odds and handle problems with ease. This also makes you more useful to the company. When everything is streamlined, you hardly learn anything. You fumble when you face problems and you are not able to take proper decision. Step number 5, communication gap. Often we are not able to coordinate our work and get the required output. The simple reason is a communication gap. We do not talk or spend time with our colleagues at work. A simple disconnect with our fellow colleagues can affect the work. We need to communicate, share our thoughts and ideas. If you can spend some time with the employees, with or without any agenda, it will do good to the company's environment. Do not be incommunicable, unapproachable. Keep in touch with workers. Talk about office or personal issues. That keeps harmony and family-like atmosphere for work. Communication discharges the tensions and brings back trust. Step number 6. A stitch in time saves 9. Make a chart of activities you plan for the day. Display it on a board in the shop for all to see. Keep ticking off activities that are completed. Never hide the status of work in your shop from your seniors. Being open is very helpful. Never hide the status of work in your shop from your seniors. Highlight both progress and obstacles in the workplace. If you provide information about obstacles in time, the chances of early resolution are high, and that will reduce production losses. Step number 7. Discourage trade secrets. Never encourage a technician who keeps his problem-solving techniques to himself. He will tell you that it is his trade secret and will not discuss or disclose his techniques. The reason for discouraging is that you become dependent on him. If he is on leave or if he leaves the company, that will be a loss in production. Step number 8. Keep your workplace clean. Never accept a bad product. That refreshes you. Cleanliness creates an environment for quality work. You would feel like working in a neat surrounding and would like to leave the area neat before leaving the place. You get better, sometimes new ideas to improve your performance. Never accept a bad product. It is the quality of the product that keeps people coming back to you again and again. Step number 9. Provide tools and materials in time. It is one of the essentials of good management, just-in-time management. That is very useful but difficult to sustain. But any company would desire to keep inventory at the minimum so as to reduce cost of production. This is also one important way to reduce the cycle time of production. This is one simple and effective tool for improving productivity. Reduce cycle time by proper planning of jobs. Reduce unnecessary activities. When you plan for an activity, ensure that necessary tools, LRUs, are made available at the workplace. Step number 10. Slow and steady wins the race. Production is not about putting effort for a few days and then relaxing. It is about regularity. It is about every day, week after week, of close follow-up with workers. My first steps in the hangar was to build a good rapport with technicians in the hangar. The next important thing was to learn the job at hand as soon as possible so that the people would listen to me when I wanted things to be done. I had to go through several technical books available for carrying out the system checks. That was no easy task. I remember going through the literature day after day for months. Though gaining knowledge is a continuous process, yet to start off, a working knowledge is essential. I jumped into the fray soon after with whatever knowledge I had acquired. My enthusiasm in my working place in this new company was high. I wanted to put to test all that I had learned from my previous company. I had been working earlier in a small automobile spring manufacturing industry and had been commended by the GM of the company for having doubled the production single-handedly because I was the lone supervisor. Here is what I did. I found out what jobs could be carried out in parallel. I tried to engage one and all employees in production activities. As there was a very small number of employees, I could personally assign them jobs. I planted the present and the next activity meticulously so that the shortages could be found out and the same procured timely, and so all machines could be utilized. Step number 11. Thinking ahead, what next? I found out that by occupying my mind with what next, I was able to achieve much more than I had expected. I found this a very useful tool in our workplace and also in my personal life. I would suggest that after you take any decision, remember to ask, what next? The effect is two-pronged. That will help you to better understand your decision. Sometimes it will help you reverse your decision well in time before it is too late. It will also help you hasten your work at your workplace. I have been able to utilize this tool to progress my work in the hangar and achieve good results, almost doubling the production. A lot of politicians, technocrats, businessmen do well when they invoke this tool in real life situations. They think ahead of others and so they stay ahead of others. Step number 12. Product and services are just two sides of a coin. Customers' confidence in both product and services is equally important. Sometimes we provide products but forget the services part. Whatever inputs we get from customers, their feedback, their complaints should be addressed quickly. A word to the wise should be sufficient. Managements have their own agenda. They engage themselves in activities that will get the company more money by increasing production, overlooking the spares and serviceability requirements of their customers. Many a times customers migrate to other companies because of poor services provided by the vendors. So learning the hard way can be dangerous and may affect the survival of the company. Step number 13. Enjoy your work. Hear your inner self. There is no joy like a person who finds happiness in performing his work. Those who love their work also find enjoyment from it. It is a source of continuous enjoyment. When you eagerly await the next morning to continue with your work, it just indicates your intense love for the work. These people do not require any inducements, promotions, increments to carry out their work. Their dedication to the work pays them, brings them honors, and to the society also. They are the greatest assets of society. Teachers, scientists, philosophers who find solace in their work seldom move out from their workplace. They lose awareness when night came, when they felt hunger, when the food canteen closed. Whenever you go out on a holiday, that enjoyment is temporary. But finding happiness from performing your duties can give you enjoyment throughout your lifetime. Step number 14. Hear your inner voice. Whenever you are confused and weary with problems and issues in your workplace or in your life, rely on your inner voice. Morning is the best time when new ideas and thoughts traverse your mind. As the day progresses, the mind gets cluttered with thoughts and nothing coherent emerges. So, spending time in the morning with yourself and with your thoughts can be very useful. Your conscience will speak out to you on every problem you face in your life and will tell you how to resolve it. It is a pure, unfiltered, unadulterated advice that every human being gets freely. Learn to hear and harness it. Yoga and exercise in the early hours of the day helps you hear your conscience loud and clear. Most people ignore this message and put their ego and selfish motives into their thought process and get weird advices. Those lucky enough to hear those clear messages and who follow prosper in life as they can make real good decisions. For those who get their thought process muddled due to various conditions of life, my advice would be to do yogic exercises like deep breathing, early morning walk, or jogging to increase the flow of energy to the body and mind. You will for sure, hear your inner voice speaking to you again loud and clear. Thank you.